The Knights Templar were a group of pilgrims or soldiers that escorted pilgrims from Jerusalem to Europe. And they also were the frontline infantry, like the what you would call the Navy SEALs of the Christian army, the Crusaders. But they were also very prosperous. They set up a bunch of network of banks and had enormous financial influence and things of that nature. They were the creators of banking. Because if I had to transport a pilgrim, let's say from France or Italy to Jerusalem, we couldn't carry all of the gold from Jerusalem or from Italy to Jerusalem because it'd be too heavy, right? The donkeys can only carry so much, you feel me? And gold is, is big, it take up space. So let me just write you a check. That's what it literally was called, a check, CHEQUE. Okay? And with that check, I would give it to you. And then once you get to Jerusalem, you would take that check to the station and turn in your check. And then you might say, I don't want all of my gold or this. I just want to buy me a black amount. So just give me 2 shekels. All right, I'll give you your 2 shekels. And then I'll just take 2 shekels off your ledger. So by the time you get back to Italy, they'll do your balance. And whatever you have left, you can just cash out. And so by setting up this system, you know that you get a percentage off of every transaction, so forth and so on. And you are military, meaning that you have protection. That's another important thing with banking, but you are also enterprising. Okay. And so to really, really get a grasp of this is found in wisdom. Now, the Knights Templar were disbanded in October 13th, around 1300 or something, right? So when they were disbanded, they were investigated. Where did y'all get this power from? Where did y'all get this information from? So forth and so on. Like, we need to get the tea because they had more power than the Pope. They had more power than King. But it was a network. It wasn't like they had a coffer of all of this gold or all of this money or nothing like that. They just had a network of brotherhoods and things of that nature that it just worked. So understanding this, you get into the concept of wisdom. Because where did these ideas come from? Did they come out of necessity or were they slowly developed through transformation or transmission from a spiritual entity? Because the Knights Templar, when they were investigated, they were praying to an energy named Baphomet. So Baphomet, at its very base, means the father of wisdom. Let's just keep that idea. Let's not try to go no further and try to find deeper, more esoteric understandings. Let's just keep it at father of wisdom, because then we'll be able to move forward and have some deeper understanding of it, how it relates to our current monetary system. So when you reference the Seal of Solomon, because once again, the Knights Templar had their actual base on the Temple Mount. Okay? The Temple Mount is where King Solomon's temple was. But King Solomon's temple, he was had this ring. Right? He had this ring. And so this ring was called the Seal of Solomon. Now, the Seal of Solomon was a talisman. Now, this is the most important thing about this talisman. It was either a pentagram or a hexagram in shape. So what you'll generally see is either a pentagram or a hexagram. When you reference Isreal, you'll see the hexagram, right? When you reference Baphomet, you see the pentagram. So what they're basically saying is that once you have these particular carvings and particular vibrations, they can somehow seduce the world into following your will. Sigil magic, intention, seed planting, ritual, repetition, subconscious programming. over and over and over and over again. How many times have you seen this flag? Why is Israel so important? Can you answer that question? Right. So when you reference the Seal of Solomon, you're also referencing the Jinn, right? The Jinn, Djinn, or John. Okay? When you reference Baphomet, you're also referencing Saint John the Baptist. When you're referencing the Seal of Solomon, when you're referencing Baphomet, you're referencing a talisman that can actually control or manipulate the universe for which you live in. And a lot of people may say it's far-fetched. Look at the world that we live in. And then give me an excuse or a reason to why the world is the way that it is in relation to money. Okay? Their banking system allowed them religious pilgrims to deposit assets in their home countries and withdraw funds in the Holy Land.